Kirizol stood at her monitoring station, aboard the Asterisk, Stellar Seeker Asterisk, her four-fingered hands moving with practiced efficiency across the holographic controls. The soft blue glow of the instruments reflected off her pale lavender skin. Like all Valorians, she prided herself on emotional control and scientific precision. Their species had evolved beyond the chaotic biological urges that plagued lesser races. Valorians mated only during the Grand Alignment, a celestial event that occurred once every 7 years, keeping reproduction orderly and planned. Anomaly detected in Sector 7, she reported, her voice calm and measured. Unknown vessel drifting. Power signatures unstable. Commander Vexilin moved to her station, tall and imposing with the characteristic ridge of luminescent spots along his temples that marked his high rank. Magnify, he ordered. The screen expanded to show a ship unlike any in their database. Its design was inefficient by Valorian standards. Too many curves, not enough geometric precision. Yet something about it stirred Kirizol's scientific curiosity. Life signs? Vexilin asked. Affirmative. Multiple biosignatures, but they're unusual, not matching any known species in our database. The commander's spots pulsed with cautious interest. Establish contact protocols. Kirizol, as our xenobiology specialist, you will lead the communication team. 3 hours later, Kirizol waited nervously in the docking bay. The vessel, which had identified itself as the Asterisk U.S. Horizon Asterisk from Earth, had responded to their hails with surprising enthusiasm. Their ship had suffered damage from an asteroid collision, and they had accepted the Valorians' offer of assistance with what seemed excessive gratitude. The airlock cycled open. Kirizol prepared her translator module and composed her features into the blank mask of scientific objectivity appropriate for first contact. 5 figures stepped through the airlock. Kirizol's scientific detachment shattered instantly. The aliens, humans, they called themselves, were unlike anything she had studied before. They stood on 2 legs like Valorians, but were covered in varied colors of fur on their heads. Their skin ranged from pale cream to rich brown. Most shocking was their expressiveness. Their faces moved constantly, shifting and changing with emotions that played across their features without restraint. The leader stepped forward, removing a breathing apparatus. Captain Ethan Miller of the United Earth Ship Asterisk Horizon Asterisk, we're grateful for your assistance. Something in his voice, deeper than Valorian tones, sent an unexpected shiver through Kirizol's body. Her heart rate accelerated. Her skin flushed a deeper purple than was professionally appropriate. Most alarming, she felt a warmth spreading through her lower abdomen, a sensation she had only experienced during previous alignment seasons. I am Kirizol, xenobiologist and communications officer, she managed to say, fighting to keep her voice steady. Welcome aboard the Asterisk, Stellar Seeker Asterisk. Another human stepped forward, shorter than the captain, with curly head fur and a face that crinkled pleasantly. Lieutenant Jack Bennett, chief engineer. That asteroid did quite a number on our propulsion system. Sure appreciate the help. When he smiled, showing white teeth, Kirizol felt her knees weaken. This was impossible. The next alignment was 2 years away, yet her body was responding as if. No, that was scientifically impossible. A human female approach, holding out a small device. Medical Officer Lisa Grant, I'd like to confirm our atmospheric compatibility, if that's okay. Kirizol nodded, unable to trust her voice. As the human moved closer, the symptoms intensified. Her skin felt hypersensitive, her breathing shallow. The 5th human, standing slightly behind the others, caught her attention. He was observing the Valorian crew with intense interest, his eyes, a striking shade of green, finally settling on Kirizol. Daniel Carter, communications specialist, he said softly. Your language adaptation technology is remarkable. Their eyes met, and Kirizol felt something inside her chemistry shift dramatically. Her vision blurred at the edges. The cool, recycled air of the docking bay suddenly felt too hot against her skin. Perhaps we should proceed to medical for standard decontamination, she suggested, desperate to escape and analyze these disturbing symptoms. Commander Vexilin gave authorization, unaware of her distress. As Kirizal led the humans toward the medical bay, she fought for scientific objectivity. These reactions defied all Valorian biological norms. Either she was experiencing some unknown illness, or these humans possessed some quality that triggered mating responses outside of alignment. Either possibility was terrifying and thrilling in ways her logical mind couldn't process. The Valorian medical bay gleamed with sterile efficiency. Dr. Mevtor, the ship's senior physician, ran his scanner over Kirizal for the third time. His face showed no emotion, but the rapid pulsing of the spots along his temples betrayed his confusion. "Impossible," he muttered, reviewing the results. "Your hormonal levels indicate early-stage mating readiness, but the grand alignment is not for another 2 standard years." Kirizal sat rigidly on the examination table, her skin still flushed a deep purple. "There must be an error in your equipment. I have checked it twice." Dr. Mevtor's voice was flat, but his eyes betrayed concern. "The only variable is your contact with the humans. Did you consume anything they offered? Touch any unknown substances?" "No. I merely stood in their presence." Kirizal remembered the strange warmth that had washed over her when Daniel Carter's green eyes had met hers. Her heart rate increased at the memory alone. The doctor noticed the change on his monitors. "Fascinating. Your body is responding as if the alignment were imminent." He lowered his voice. "This could be dangerous, Kirizal. If your condition progresses without the proper astronomical influences, there could be severe biological consequences." In another section of the medical bay, Lisa Grant was conducting standard checks on the human crew while Valorian scientists observed with clinical interest. "Your species has remarkable biological diversity," commented a Valorian researcher, noting the variety of skin tones, hair colors, and body types among just 5 humans. Lisa smiled. "That's what happens when you evolve on a planet with multiple climates and no controlled breeding programs. Natural selection gets creative." The door slid open, and Lieutenant Jack Bennett entered. "Captain sent me to check on progress. The Valorians are already helping with repairs to the ship. Their tech is amazing." Kirizal tried to focus on her breathing as Jack approached. His curly brown hair seemed to catch the light in fascinating ways. She noticed fine particles of ship lubricant on his hands. Evidence of his work. Something about that practical detail made her skin tingle. "Are you feeling all right?" Daniel Carter had appeared beside her. "You look different than the other Valorians. More colorful." The proximity of the human male made Kirizal's symptoms flare dramatically. The medical monitors began chiming in alarm. Dr. Mevtor stepped between them. "Please maintain distance from our officer. There appears to be some unexpected biological interaction occurring." Lisa Grant approached, her medical scanner raised. "Is there something I can help with? Human physiology is my specialty." "This is an internal matter," Dr. Mevtor stated flatly. But Lisa had already seen the readings. Her eyes widened. "These hormone levels, they're similar to human reproductive cycles." She looked at Kirizal with sudden understanding. Oh, I see." Kirizal wanted to disappear. The clinical discussions of her condition in front of the humans, especially Daniel, was mortifying in a way she had never experienced. "Reproductive cycles?" Daniel asked, his voice soft with concern. "Is she ill?" "Not ill," Lisa explained carefully. "Just experiencing something unexpected. Something that isn't supposed to happen now, from what I understand." Commander Vexilin entered the medical bay, his tall form radiating authority. "Dr. Mevtor, report." The doctor pulled him aside, speaking in low tones. The commander's spots flashed with alarm as he looked from Kirizal to the humans and back again. "The human presence appears to be triggering pre-mating responses in Officer Kirizal," Dr. Mevtor explained. "It defies all biological precedent." The commander's expression hardened. "Are other crew members affected?" Not yet, but I recommend limiting exposure until we understand the mechanism. Vexilin turned to Captain Miller. We will continue to assist with your repairs, but we must implement certain precautions. Kirizol watched Daniel from across the room. Something about him specifically called to her biology. His thoughtful observation, the gentle way he spoke, how his eyes seemed to actually see her as an individual rather than just another Valorian. As their eyes met again, a new wave of heat washed through her body. This wasn't just biology, she realized with growing alarm. There was something else, something her people had bred out generations ago. Something humans seemed to possess in abundance. Emotion. 3 days after the humans arrived, the Stellar Seeker hummed with unusual activity. Despite Commander Vexilin's caution, a cultural exchange program had been established. The humans were too valuable as potential allies to risk offense, and the Valorian scientific community was eager to learn more about this new species. Kirizal volunteered to coordinate the program. Her colleagues assumed she acted from scientific curiosity. In truth, she hoped studying the humans might help her understand her condition, which had not improved despite daily treatments from Dr. Mevtor. She stood now at the entrance to the ship's large observation deck, which had been repurposed for a social gathering. Her hands trembled slightly as she straightened her formal science uniform. Are you certain you should attend? Dr. Mevtor appeared beside her, medical scanner discreetly checking her vitals. Your condition has stabilized but remains abnormal. I must understand it, Kirizal replied. Scientific observation is our way. The doctor's spots pulsed skeptically. The High Council is concerned. I received a priority communication this morning requesting detailed reports on your condition and all human interactions. Kirizal felt a flash of alarm. The Council knows. Of course. First contact protocols require immediate notification. Dr. Mevtor lowered his voice. They are particularly interested in whether other Valorians show similar responses after prolonged human exposure. The observation deck doors slid open, revealing a scene unlike any on a Valorian vessel. Soft earth music played from speakers. Humans and Valorians stood in small groups, the humans animated and expressive, the Valorians stiff, but clearly attempting engagement. Captain Miller noticed her and approached. Officer Kirizal, glad you could join us. Your crew has been incredibly helpful with repairs. We should be spaceworthy within another week. Kirizal nodded formally, fighting to maintain control as her body responded to his presence. The exchange of technical knowledge benefits both our species. Not just technical knowledge, Miller smiled. Cultural understanding, too. Some of your younger crew seem genuinely curious about Earth customs. Across the room, Lisa Grant was teaching a group of Valorian scientists a simple Earth dance. Most looked uncomfortable, but a few younger ones were attempting the movements with careful precision. Then Kirizal saw Daniel. He stood by the viewport, stars streaming past behind him as he spoke with a Valorian engineer. When he laughed at something the engineer said, Kirizal felt an intense longing to be the one who had caused that joyful sound. As if sensing her attention, Daniel looked up. Their eyes met across the room. He smiled and excused himself from the conversation, walking toward her. Officer Kirizal, he said warmly, how are you feeling? The genuine concern in his voice triggered a flutter in her chest. My condition is stable. Thank you. Good to hear. I was worried. He glanced around the room. This is nice. On Earth, we consider sharing food and music the fastest way to friendship between cultures. Valorians view information exchange as the foundation of relationship. Kirizal replied, struggling to maintain her clinical detachment. Your approach is inefficient but interesting. Daniel laughed. That's one of the things I find fascinating about humans and Valorians. You built your society on logic. We built ours on emotion. Both approaches got us to the stars. A new song began playing, slower than before. On the improvised dance floor, some humans had paired off, moving together in close proximity. What are they doing? Kirizal asked, unable to hide her curiosity. Slow dancing. It's... Daniel seemed to search for words a Valorian would understand. It's a formalized social ritual that often precedes mating behaviors. Kirizol felt heat rush to her face. You discuss mating so openly. It's not just mating for us, Daniel said softly. It's connection. Emotion. Sometimes even love. Love is a primitive concept, Kirizol recited automatically. Valorians evolved beyond such inefficient bonding mechanisms 7 generations ago. Daniel studied her flushed face. Did you? Or did you just convince yourselves you did? Before she could answer, another Valorian scientist approached, spots flashing with excitement. Lieutenant Carter, Officer Kirizol. I must report an unusual observation. After 3 days of human exposure, 3 junior crew members are showing elevated hormonal patterns similar to early alignment responses. Kirizol felt a complex mix of relief and alarm. She wasn't alone in her response to humans. But what did this mean for Valorian society if humans could disrupt their carefully controlled biological cycles? The Council would see this as a threat, and threats were dealt with severely. The message from the Valorian High Council arrived during the night cycle. Commander Vexlin called an emergency meeting of senior officers, his spots pulsing with rapid patterns that indicated severe stress. The cultural exchange program is terminated, effective immediately, he announced. All humans are to be confined to the medical bay for comprehensive biological testing before returning to their vessel. Kirizol felt a cold wave of dread. On what grounds, Commander? Biological security. Vexlin's voice was flat. The Council has reviewed Dr. Mevtour's reports. They classify the human biological effect as a potential threat to Valorian social structure. Dr. Mevtour nodded. 7 crew members now show symptoms similar to yours, Officer Kirizol. All after extended contact with the humans. They have done nothing wrong, Kirizol protested. Their biology simply interacts with ours in unexpected ways. Ways that disrupt our reproductive controls, the commander stated coldly. The foundation of Valorian stability for 7 generations. 1 hour later, Captain Miller stood in Commander Vexlin's office, his normally friendly face hard with anger. Quarantine. Miller's voice was controlled but tight. After we've worked together for nearly a week. This is unacceptable. Commander Vexlin remained expressionless. The decision comes directly from the High Council. Your biology presents a potential hazard. You mean because some of your people are attracted to mine? Miller asked bluntly. The commander's spots flickered with discomfort. Valorian reproduction is precisely controlled. Your species triggers responses outside these controls. So test us non-invasively, Miller countered. We've freely shared medical data, but we won't be detained against our will. Kirizol, standing to the side as communications officer, felt torn between loyalties. The captain was right. The Council's reaction was extreme. Yet she understood their fear. If humans could bypass Valorian biological controls, it threatened their entire social order. After Miller left, Kirizol hesitated before addressing her commander. Sir, might I see the full Council directive? Perhaps there's room for compromise. Vexlin regarded her with suspicion. Your judgment is compromised by your condition, officer. My scientific training remains intact, she replied stiffly. With reluctance, he transferred the document to her pad. Kirizol bowed and left quickly. In the privacy of her quarters, she studied the directive. Behind the formal language was something unexpected. Fear. Not just of biological contamination, but of the social implications. A section caught her eye. Preliminary analysis suggests human biological markers may permanently alter Valorian reproductive cycles, potentially allowing reproduction outside the grand alignment. Such disruption would undermine population controls and the orderly social structure they ensure. Kirizol suddenly understood. This wasn't about protection. It was about control. The Council feared that if Valorians could reproduce freely, like humans, the power structure would collapse. A soft chime at her door interrupted her thoughts. She opened it to find Daniel standing there, his face tense. "I shouldn't be here," he said quickly. "But we need to talk. Captain Miller is planning to leave as soon as repairs permit. We won't submit to being lab specimens." "The Council fears your biology," Kirizal admitted. "You trigger something in us that was deliberately bred out." "Emotion," Daniel suggested. "Freedom," she corrected. "Our reproductive cycles control our population, but also our society. Everything is planned orderly." Daniel stepped closer. "And you? What do you want?" The proximity made her heart race. "I want to understand. Help me access your ship's communication array. I need to see the Council's private directives to the commander." "That would be helping us spy," Daniel said carefully. "It would be finding the truth," Kirizal countered. "Something both our peoples deserve." Daniel studied her for a long moment. "Okay. Tonight, during the sleep cycle, I'll create a distraction in engineering. You'll have 5 minutes at the communication station." As he turned to leave, Kirizal impulsively reached out, touching his arm. The contact sent waves of warmth through her body. "Why help me?" she asked. Daniel's green eyes met hers. "Because I think what's happening between our species isn't a threat. It might be the most natural thing in the universe." After he left, Kirizal stared at her hand, still warm from touching him. For the first time, she wondered if her condition wasn't a malfunction at all, but an awakening. The night cycle aboard the Stellar Seeker was dim and quiet. Most Valorians were in their rest chambers, their minds purposefully cleared of thought in the efficient meditation that replaced sleep for their species. Kirizal moved silently through the corridors, her heart pounding with what humans would call fear, but what Valorians termed elevated risk assessment. Her actions violated multiple regulations. If discovered, she faced severe consequences. She reached the communications hub just as alarms blared from the engineering section. Daniel had created his distraction. The few duty officers rushed toward the commotion, leaving her alone with the main communication array. Working quickly, she bypassed security using her officer codes and accessed the secure channel to the High Council. The most recent transmissions appeared on screen, marked with the highest security clearance. "Must secure human biological samples before containment is compromised." Read one message. "Priority research indicates potential applications for controlled reproductive liberation among elite bloodlines, while maintaining restrictions for general population." Kirizal felt sick. The Council didn't fear human biology would free all Valorians. They wanted to study it so only the elite could benefit from reproductive freedom. Another message confirmed her worst fears. "Detain humans for comprehensive biological extraction. Their vessel contains valuable technology. Treatment of specimens after extraction is at discretion of Research Division." The Council didn't intend to let the humans leave at all. Footsteps approached. Kirizal quickly downloaded the communications to her personal device and cleared her access logs. She slipped out through a maintenance passage just as security officers entered the hub. She needed to warn Daniel. The humans had to escape immediately. Alarms still sounded from engineering. Moving against the flow of responding personnel, Kirizal made her way toward the human quarters. She found the corridor guarded by 2 security officers. "Medical emergency," she stated, projecting calm authority. "Dr. Mevtor requires immediate biometric data from the human female." The guards hesitated, then nodded. Valorians respected medical authority. Inside, she found the humans gathered in their common area, tension visible in their postures. Daniel rushed to her. "What did you find?" he asked quietly. "The Council never intended to release you," she whispered. "They plan to extract biological samples and study your technology. You must leave now." Captain Miller joined them, his face grim. "How?" "They've posted guards at every access point to our ship. I can disable the security protocols," Kirizal said, "and provide access codes to the launch bay." "You betray your people?" Lisa Grant asked, her medical scanner subtly checking Kirizal's vitals. "I'm protecting both our peoples from the Council's deception," Kirizal replied. This isn't what Valorians stand for. They quickly formed a plan. Jack Bennett would create another engineering emergency to draw away security. Kirizal would guide them through maintenance shafts to reach their ship. "What about you?" Daniel asked as the others prepared. "They'll know you helped us." Kirizal had no answer. Her life among her people would be over regardless. 20 minutes later, alarms blared throughout the ship. The humans moved swiftly through the maintenance tunnels behind Kirizal, following routes few knew existed. "Security breach in Section 12, announced the ship's computer. "All personnel initiate containment protocols." They were halfway to the docking bay when heavy footsteps echoed from both directions in the narrow passage. They were trapped. "In here," Kirizal whispered, opening a small access room filled with environmental control equipment. The 5 humans and Kirizal crowded inside as security teams passed by outside. The room was tiny. Kirizal found herself pressed against Daniel in the darkness, his body warm against hers. Her symptoms flared intensely, heart racing, skin flushing deep purple, a powerful longing building within her. "Kirizal," Daniel whispered, his breath tickling her ear. "Your skin is glowing." She looked down in alarm. The spots along her arms, smaller and fewer than the males of her species, were indeed glowing with a soft purple light. It was a biological response that typically occurred only at the height of the alignment mating season. "This is bad," she whispered. "The glow is visible through walls to Valorian eyes. They'll find us." Daniel gently touched her face, turning it toward his. "What happens if they do?" "I don't know," she admitted. "This has never happened before in our history." Their faces were centimeters apart in the darkness. Every logical part of Kirizal's training told her to maintain distance, to regain control of her biological responses. But logic seemed very far away as Daniel's green eyes held hers in the purple-tinted darkness. The security teams passed by without noticing them. After several tense minutes, Kirizal's glow began to fade as she focused on her breathing techniques. "We need to move," Captain Miller whispered. "The Horizon asterisk is nearly repaired. If we can reach it, we have a chance." They slipped out of the access room and continued through the maintenance tunnels. Kirizal's knowledge of the ship's layout proved invaluable. They avoided 3 more security teams before reaching the launch bay access tunnel. "The bay is guarded," Kirizal warned, checking the security feed on her device. 4 officers, all armed. "We won't hurt your people," Miller assured her. "But we need a distraction." Before they could plan further, Kirizal's device chimed with an incoming message. She checked it and her eyes widened. "It's from Dr. Mevtor," she said, surprised. "He wants to meet me in the science lab immediately. He says it's about a cure for my condition." "It could be a trap," Lisa warned. "Or it could be helped," Daniel suggested. "Kirizal, what do you think?" She hesitated. Dr. Mevtor has always valued scientific truth. If anyone would question the Council's orders, it would be him. They decided to split up. Kirizal would meet with Dr. Mevtor, while the humans continued toward their ship. If she could gain allies among the medical staff, it might help create the distraction they needed. Daniel gripped her hand briefly before they parted. "Be careful." The science lab was dimly lit when Kirizal arrived. Dr. Mevtor was not alone. 5 other Valorian scientists were with him, all looking unusually animated. "You accessed the Council's private directives," Dr. Mevtor stated without preamble. "So you know the truth." Kirizal tensed, ready to flee. "Are you going to report me?" To her surprise, one of the younger scientists stepped forward. "We want to help. The Council's actions violate our scientific principles." Dr. Mevtor nodded. "What's happening between Valorians and humans is not a contamination. It's a discovery. Our research suggests human pheromones are reactivating aspects of Valorian biology that were suppressed through genetic engineering during the Control Era." "Suppressed?" Kirizal asked, confused. "Valorians were not always as we are now," another scientist explained. Historical records show our ancestors experienced emotions and mated freely. The Council's predecessors engineered our species to remove what they called biological chaos. Dr. Mevtor opened a secure file on the main display. These are brain scans of affected crew members. The dormant emotional centers are reawakening. It's not damage, it's restoration. Kirizal felt a surge of validation. Then what I'm feeling is natural, Dr. Mevtor confirmed. More natural than our current state. The Council fears this knowledge would destabilize their control. We've contacted others, the young scientist added. Many younger Valorians have questioned the reproductive restrictions. News of the human effect is spreading through unofficial channels. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. Security alert, announced the computer. Unauthorized access to Docking Bay 3. The humans had been discovered. What can we do? Kirizal asked urgently. Dr. Mevtor exchanged glances with his colleagues. We can create a scientific protest. Demand the Council explain their deception. Many will support us once they know the truth. But the humans will be detained before you can reach them, Dr. Mevtor said regretfully. Unless. He turned to one of the other scientists, who nodded and activated a ship-wide communication channel. Attention all personnel, the scientist announced, her voice steady. This is Dr. Selnar of the Biological Research Division. We have detected a potential airborne pathogen in sections 5 through 8. All security personnel must report to medical for immediate testing. It was a lie, but it might work. Security protocols would force the guards to comply. Kirizal rushed back toward the launch bay. Through the corridors, she heard growing commotion. Not just security responding to the false alert, but groups of Valorians gathering, talking with unusual animation. Word was spreading. She reached the launch bay just as the security team was leaving, responding to Dr. Selnar's alert. The humans were at the airlock to their ship, Daniel looking back anxiously. His face lit up when he saw her. Kirizal. She ran to them, breathless. Something's happening. The scientists are with us. They're telling everyone the truth about the Council's genetic engineering of our species. Captain Miller looked at the access panel. We still need to leave. The Council will send more security. Come with us, Daniel said suddenly, taking Kirizal's hands. To Earth. The offer hung in the air between them, filled with possibility and danger. Kirizal stood frozen at the threshold of the human ship. Daniel's question hung in the air between them. Leave with them. Abandon everything she had ever known. I can't just, she began. The ship's communication system interrupted her. Attention *, Stellar Seeker * crew. This is Commander Vexelen. The Valorian fleet has been notified of our situation. 3 warships will arrive within 6 hours. All personnel are to prevent the humans from departing by any means necessary. Captain Miller turned to his crew. We need to launch now. Wait, Kirizal said. The warships will destroy you before you reach safe distance. Lisa stepped forward. What if we contact the Valorian Science Academy directly? If what Dr. Mevtor said is true, other scientists might support us. As they debated, the launch bay doors opened. Kirizal tensed, expecting security forces. Instead, Dr. Mevtor entered with at least 30 Valorians, scientists, engineers, and even some junior officers. Their faces showed unusual animation, spots pulsing with excitement, rather than the calm patterns of normal Valorian interaction. The truth is spreading, Dr. Mevtor announced. We've contacted the Science Academy. Initial data suggests controlled exposure to human biological markers might allow Valorians to experience emotional responses without social disruption. A younger Valorian stepped forward. We've started a peaceful protest. Many crew members want to know why the Council hid our true biological history. It won't stop the warships, Captain Miller pointed out. Perhaps not. Dr. Mevtor agreed. But this. He held up a data crystal. This might. What is it? Kirizal asked. Complete research on the human effect. Data proving it restores our natural state rather than contaminating it. The Science Academy has asked for immediate transmission. For the first time in her life, Kirizol saw a Valorian smile, a small awkward expression on Dr. Mevtour's face, but unmistakable. The Academy outranks the Council in biological matters, the doctor explained. They've ordered a full review of the situation. Over the next hour, more Valorians gathered in the launch bay, not to stop the humans, but to observe them, to experience their effect. Some younger crew members even displayed physical responses similar to Kirizol's. Flushed skin, brightened spots, animated expressions. Commander Vexlin arrived with security forces, but stopped short at the sight of so many crew members blocking his path. "This is a violation of Council directives," he stated firmly. "This is scientific inquiry," Dr. Mevtour countered. "The Academy has authorized it." The commander's spots pulsed with confusion. "The warships have been informed of the Academy's position," a senior scientist announced, checking her communication device. "They will hold position until the review is complete." Kirizol felt a wave of relief, but uncertainty still clouded her mind. Daniel stood beside her, not rushing her decision. "What will happen now?" she asked Dr. Mevtour. "The Academy proposes a formal research exchange," he replied. "Human volunteers would help us understand how to safely integrate emotional capacity back into Valorian biology. Some Valorians would study on Earth as ambassadors," Captain Miller suggested, "not test subjects." "Acceptable terms," Commander Vexlin admitted reluctantly. The Academy's authority was absolute in such matters. Daniel turned to Kirizol. "What will you do?" She looked around at her people, seeing them with new eyes. Some showed clear signs of awakening emotions. Others remained traditionally reserved. Both could coexist. "I want to understand this change," she said finally. "Not just in myself, but what it means for all Valorians." She met Daniel's eyes. The Academy will need a liaison who has experienced the human effect firsthand. Daniel smiled. "Earth's quite beautiful. You might like it." "I would like to see it," she admitted. "But I would also want to return here, to help others understand what's happening to them." "An ambassador traveling between worlds," Captain Miller suggested. "We could arrange that." Hours later, as preparations for departure continued, Kirizol stood with Daniel in the observation lounge. Beyond the viewport, the vast starfield stretched infinitely. "Are you afraid?" Daniel asked gently. "Yes," she answered, the admission itself a new kind of freedom. "But also excited." She tested the unfamiliar emotional word carefully. Daniel's hand found hers, warm fingers interlacing with her cooler ones. "That's very human of you," he said softly. "Perhaps it's very Valorian," she corrected. "The way we were meant to be." As the stars shifted beyond the viewport, Kirizol felt something settle within her, not the rigid control she had been taught, but a balanced harmony of logic and emotion, a new way forward for her people, and for herself.